Today we're going to play a game called Mr. Jack Pocket. This is a smaller version of Mr. Jack, but it doesn't really have anything in common mechanically with that game. It just has the same theme, and then has all of its own mechanics. It's more of like a filler game. It's really short. It's a puzzle. One player is going to take on the role of Jack the Ripper, Mr. Jack, and be trying to evade the pursuit of Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, and of course, their dog. You're going to begin the game by taking these 9 tiles, shuffling them up, and then you're going to lay them out in a 3x3 grid on the table. Your 3 detective tokens go always in the same pattern. You're going to put Sherlock Holmes up here at the top left, Dr. Watson on the top right, and then their dog on the bottom in the middle. You rotate the tiles that are next to them so that walls are facing. So Holmes and Watson are fine, but the dog, we have to rotate this tile so that the dog is not able to just immediately see what's happening. You have these 8 turn markers that you're going to set aside that you'll need at the end of each round in phase 2. And you have this stack of tiles that have magnifying glasses on one side, and on the other side have all of the characters. These 9 characters that are out here on the board. You'll shuffle these, and Mr. Jack is going to get one of them. See, I don't know who it is. On all of these, you have hourglasses in the bottom left-hand corner of some of them. Mr. Jack's goal over the course of the game is to acquire 6 hourglasses. 2 of the characters do not have any hourglasses. The blue and the black characters, Lestrade and Sergeant Goodley. And then one of the characters, the Pink Madam, has 2. So Jack's going to start the game with somewhere between 0 and 2 of the hourglasses that he needs, trying to reach a total of 6. And the inspector doesn't know how many of those he has. Then you're going to take these 4 action tokens that are double-sided. They have a different thing on each side. And you're going to shake them around in your hands and kind of toss them up in the air. And whatever you get face up are the actions that are available that round. So here we've got 4 actions. If you look at your round markers, they alternate and go back and forth. Odd ones all have a magnifying glass, and then the even ones all have a dagger. That's just to remind you that in odd-numbered rounds, the investigator takes the first action, and in even-numbered rounds, Jack takes the first action. So this is odd since we're starting the game. It's the first round. The investigator is going to get to go first, and the investigator gets to choose one of these 4 actions to take. We'll say they take this action to move Watson. Whenever you're moving a character, you either move the character 1 or 2 spaces clockwise. So if we're moving Watson, we might move him 2 clockwise down the side of the board. Jack then gets to take 2 of the remaining actions. Jack might want to take this alibi action that lets him take another of these cards off the top of the deck. And he gets to add this hourglass to his total. Both of these other actions are rotate a tile. So if Jack takes both of these, he could rotate 2 tiles rather than taking this alibi. If he only takes 1, there's a pretty good chance that the inspector would just undo whatever he does, because Jack's probably going to try to stop Watson from being able to see down this sight line. So he probably needs to take both of these so that he can rotate this tile and stop Watson from being able to see what's going on, and then rotate another tile to complicate issues further. And the inspector gets to take this alibi action instead. So what's going to happen here when the inspector takes the alibi action is you get to look at the top tile off the deck, and you have eliminated this suspect because he is obviously not the culprit. So that becomes revealed and everyone gets to know it. Now we're at the end of the round. Phase 2 of each round, which is at the end here, involves Jack reporting whether or not Mr. Jack is visible. Right now, nobody's visible, so Jack is hidden. That means that Mr. Jack is going to get to take the round marker and keep it for himself as another hourglass. And then we will start round 2. So for round 2, we're going to take these action tiles. We aren't going to pick them up and throw them in the air this time. Now they just all flip over. So we get that alternate side of the action tokens to deal with this time. So this time we have move the dog, move Holmes, move any of the 3, and swap 2 tiles around. So the inspector is going to get to do a lot of movement this time. And Mr. Jack takes the first action. If Mr. Jack takes either Holmes or the dog, you have to move 1 or 2 spaces clockwise. If Mr. Jack takes the wild, he can choose to have nobody move. It's the only time that nobody moves with a movement tile. And then swap will let him pick 2 tiles up and place them, but without changing their orientation, so you can't rotate them at all. So let's say Jack takes the first action and decides to move Holmes because he wants to make sure that he can't see down this line. So get him out of the way. Now the inspector is going to take 2 actions. He might take this dog action and bounce the dog over 2 so that he can see down this line at the bottom. And then he has to decide if he wants to swap 2 tiles around or take the other movement tile. And in this case, giving Jack the option of swapping tiles is the riskier choice, I think. So the inspector is going to go ahead and swap tiles and do this so that Sherlock can see down this line, the dog can see down this line, and that means that Jack only gets to move 1 tile with this wild and has to decide if he wants to prevent himself from being seen here or prevent himself from being seen here, or if he wants to go ahead and move Watson 1 space, so that now when we get to the end of phase 2 here, and the inspector asks, is Jack visible? You say, yes. And now we're going to flip over these 2 characters that aren't visible, rather than having also eliminated all of these guys, since we could not get out of the inspector's line of sight. Because you're visible, Jack does not get this end of round token with an hourglass. It goes to the inspector. And now we're going to take our 4 action tiles, shuffle them up, and do the whole thing again. So it's going to alternate back and forth like that for the rest of the game. As we get through the game, eventually we're going to eliminate all of these characters until only Mr. Jack remains, probably. And at that point, if Jack hasn't acquired 6 hourglasses, it becomes a race, as Mr. Jack tries to prevent his character from being seen, this last suspect, as all 3 of the investigator tokens try to close in moving around the outsides to try to keep him in sight. If Jack can survive until the 8 rounds run out of time at that point, Jack wins the game. If at any point Mr. Jack is the only character visible and the only suspect left, the investigator wins. And that's Mr. Jack Pocket.
That's it, right? The dog is down here.
Yeah, dog down there at the bottom. Then you rotate so that walls are facing all of them.
Okay.
No play!
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
You're the inspector. You reveal that and turn that person over.
You are not Sergeant Goodley.
That's true. So Sergeant Goodley is turned over. I get to take 2 of these. Terrible. Rotate. All of mine are just in bad orientations for me. I think that was a big part of why your play last time was so good, that you had a lot of variation in the way they were facing. I'm going to rotate. And move Watson 1 point clockwise. Crap. Okay, I'm visible. Take that one and cause you to skip a turn, effectively, because none of them move.
Okay. Does this rotate like 90 degrees or is it 180 degrees?
90 or 180.
Okay. I rotate. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what you were going to do there.
I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Hold on. We got this.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm going to rotate.
Okay.
And move. Oh, I have to move him if I take him.
Yeah, you have to move him 2 spaces. 1 or 2 spaces. Clockwise.
And sorry, what's the rule? Oh, sorry.
He was there.
There, yeah.
Pretty sure I moved him.
Grab the wrong token.
Yeah, I know.
What is the rule on if they came into do they skip over a space if someone's standing there, or they stay on the same space?
They can share the same space.
Okay, I moved the dog. 1, 2.
Okay. And the only thing I can do is move Sherlock, so I move him 1, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not visible. Pick 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to take the dog, move 2, and take the wild and move 1, and then you can just swap 2 tiles and... Like, I hate this game.
There's a 50% chance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm visible. You win the game. Good job.
Mr. Jack Pocket.
This is my Mr. Jack Pocket face.
Great. So very quickly, neither of us like this game.
Man, I hate this game.
But we both like Mr. Jack.
Yeah, like, you know, when you and I first talked about this game, I thought that I was kind of excited about it because one of the things that I don't like about Mr. Jack is that the setup is static and that it never changes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you can kind of like learn the most efficient steps in a way. I mean, you randomize like what actions are happening, but you know, there's kind of a right way to play Mr. Jack after you've played it enough times to get a good sense of it. Where if tokens were randomized, I felt like that would help fix that a lot. So I was kind of excited about the idea of Mr. Jack, but with a random setup. I don't know what it is about this game, but it is just miserable every time I play it. I think I can't think of a single time that you and I have ever played it where the investigator hasn't won.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of any time except for the one play earlier today, not the one that we recorded for this.
The one we did incorrectly.
Yeah, the one that we kind of were doing incorrectly because we had forgotten...
People can't... They move clockwise.
That they only move clockwise, yeah. But... that was the only time where I ever have felt like you could win as Mr. Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And
I actually, like we realized we were doing it wrong. It was like, okay, well, now it kind of just doesn't matter. So I'm going to do this and this and this. Oh, I lose. But, like...
yeah.
I had 5 of 6 hourglasses when that happened.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't count because we were playing it completely wrong in terms of how the rules are...
But even so, like... I don't know why that game felt like it was tense. I think it was that you had pretty good variation in the rotation of tiles. So you were able to use, swaps and rotates to block line of sight really easily, where most of the time when I play this, especially when I'm Mr. Jack, like, rotating tiles doesn't mean anything for me because half the board is in sight of somebody because of the way the random setup lined all the roads up for us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all facing the same direction, too, so you can't use, like, tile swaps because you can't change the orientation of the tiles when you swap them around to change anything. So I always feel like those actions are almost worthless when I'm Jack. But they should be really powerful for you. I don't know, it's...
You're sitting here complaining about the random nature of setup causing those sorts of situations. And what Bruno Cathala would say to you, that's why Mr. Jack isn't randomized. You don't have to deal with that possibility.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a one-sided thing. Both of us have been Mr. Jack 2 or 3 times each.
Yeah.
And have always lost as Mr. Jack.
And with the exception of our play earlier today, always by round 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that time I won in round 6 or 5, whatever it was, earlier today when we played.
Mm. It was 6.
I think it was 6 too.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, that seems like the game is just wildly unbalanced to the point of being completely worthless.
It's like the reason why you had to deviate from Mr. Jack is that people figured out that statistically Mr. Jack has a harder time winning. Like, It's like a 40-60 split.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, we need to revisit the system to try to fix that. But this isn't really revisiting that system, because this isn't the same game.
Yeah.
This is not even really a deduction game. Like, it's really odd that it's even got the same theme, because the theme doesn't make any sense. Your actions are like moving streets around, rotating city streets, using the dog to find suspects.
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes, Watson, and their random dog.
And they can only walk in clockwise fashion around the city. Like, why is this theme even here at this point? Because it's not really a deduction game, because you can't... I guess in a deduction game, you can... you could guess who the person is, and then, like, well, you guessed it. But that's not it. Like, you need to prove that it's just the one guy.
Yeah, you have to eliminate everyone else and be able to see Mr. Jack at the end of the game.
Yeah. So it's not... It's just some kind of weird mini puzzle game.
Yeah.
Things that's got going for it, it has asymmetric play, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
At least there are different things happening. You have different goals. On Mr. Jack's side, I think it's bizarre that you could randomly start with 2 of the 6 hourglasses you need, or you might start with 0.
Yeah, like I did in my play. Yeah.
Characters have nothing on them, and it's like, okay. And I don't know if that's like a thing where knowing that is supposed to be something that affects how you play it. It affected my play that we filmed because I intentionally chose to eliminate the lady who's worth 2 hourglasses, just in case you happen to be that, because it gave me more time to worry about the other 2, just in case.
Yeah, I was sure that's what you were doing then, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, but why is that a thing? Why are the characters worth different things? And, I mean, it does give you different, if you're really playing at a level where both people know the game, I know that you know that the lady's worth 2 hourglasses, so I'm going to make you think that I'm the lady.
Yeah.
But it seems odd.
I agree.
This is another game that is really highly ranked. and neither of us really know why.
Mm-mm.
It's fast, it's portable, it's cheap. So, I mean, it's got those things going for it if you need a travel game that does require you to think, because it's not like roll some dice and...
Just mark whatever you got on your dice and you're done.
Yeah. It does have
Think
strategy.
about what actions you're taking and, what actions you're going to let your opponent be able to choose from.
And you're planning ahead and you're, making intelligent decisions. But sometimes it doesn't matter if you made intelligent decisions because of the random nature of it. The other person could just randomly say, okay, I'm going to just pick this one spot that's visible, and like the other 9 are, like of the 9 characters, like 8 of them I could choose from. I'm going to focus on this one. Oh, that happens to be you. I win.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
I think the first 3 or 4 times you and I played this, within the first round or 2 rounds, we'd eliminated 2/3 of the suspects, just because of the way the board and the tile and the action tokens flipped over.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like it is impossible to win this game as Mr. Jack.
Well, I mean, it clearly isn't, because people have logged plays and do win. I don't know what to say about it. I feel like it doesn't seem to fire on all cylinders for me. I don't enjoy playing it, and you don't enjoy playing it. So, I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. Oh, I do like the way you throw the tiles up. I think that's kind of interesting. Like,
it is
to determine
interesting.
your actions.
And I don't think I've ever seen any other game that did something like that, where you have tokens that have different things on each side, and you flip them in the air, and then whatever actions landed are the ones you take, and then you're going to flip them all over and take the other action. I do think that's interesting mechanically. And I'd like to see it used in other games.
Just not this game.
Just not this game, because I hate this game.
Yeah. So, what would you rate it?
I'd give this like a 2.
I would give it maybe a 4.
Why a 4?
Because it does function at a level where it's causing you to think about things, and that's kind of rare in what I would consider like a short mini game kind of thing. It's not just like stupid nonsense, draw a card and play a card kind of a thing. Like, there are meaningful choices happening. It does seem to be really difficult for one party more than the other, so I think it's
like, that's why I have to rate it so low, that it is just so imbalanced to me. Like, I don't know what the percentages are. Like, I'm sure that there's some, study of the game online on BGG or whatever, where somebody has, tried to compile statistics on who wins how often. I don't know, like,
I think through sheer randomness, we could have a streak where Mr. Jack wins like 5 times in a row.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, it's certainly possible that every time you and I have played this has just been kind of random chance swung in the inspector's favor. I don't think so. I think that it is just that imbalanced and that poorly designed.
There's only one way to find out.
Play it 20 more times.
Keep playing it.
Yeah. No.
So you are not an expert until you've played it enough to really absorb the true probability of it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Why is this game for 14 and up?
Because it's murder themed.
What? Why is this game murder themed?
Because Inspector Lestrade is killing people.
Okay, well, there's Mr. Jack. Pocket.
Yep.
How
big are your pockets if this game fits in there?
You gotta wear hammer pants.
Cargo pants?
Yep.
Big ones?
Excitement guaranteed.
Are you excited?
I'm excited because we're not playing Mr. Jack Pocket anymore.
Well, the excitement was guaranteed.
Paid off.
You cannot claim that they did not deliver on their guarantee.
Mr. Jack Pocket.
Mr. Jack Pocket.